Hello, Paula Daniele from Crochet Hook here. Today I'll be showing you how to make the Crochet for Cancer's Basketweave vertical stripe chemo cap. This was designed by Tracy, the co-founder of Crochet for Cancer. You can find a link to her website below in the description box, and on that website you will find chapters of where you can donate chemo caps to. You can find the written pattern on the Crochet for Cancer website, or you can also find the written pattern in the description box below. The yarn I'm using today is Red Heart with Love yarn, and I'm using it in the colour of Candy Pink, and this is a medium worsted weight yarn category 4. Now you can use any medium worsted weight yarn as long as it's soft. Now with that yarn, I'm using an I9 or 5.5mm crochet hook. You'll also need some craft scissors and a yarn needle. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to make a slip knot. And we're just going to pop our hook through there and pull that like that. Now we're going to chain 5, so we're making 5 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do a slip stitch into the first chain stitch, this one here, to form a ring. So you're just popping your hook underneath both of those loops there. And we're going to make a slip stitch. And that forms a ring. So now for round 1, we're going to work over this tail as we go working around into the ring. So for round 1, start off with a chain 2. So 1, 2. Then we'll be doing 10 double crochet stitches into this ring. So here's our first one, and see how I've got the yarn tail over the hook there. There's 1 double crochet. Two double crochet, working over the tail as we go. Three double crochet, four. If you need to, you can just push your stitches around like that. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 9, 10. Okay, so that means we now have 10 double crochet stitches, and plus the 2 chain stitches we made at the start counts as 1 stitch. So our end count is actually 11 stitches. Now we're going to join into the top of the chain 2. So there you can see our first chain, and there's your second chain. And you'll always know that that's the chain to join into, because you can see that that first double crochet stitch sits right there. So this is where you need to join into. So popping your hook under both loops of that chain 2 and make a slip stitch to join. And as I said, at the end of this round 1 you should have 11 stitches. That includes the chain 2 as 1 double crochet, and I just pulled my center tight, just like that. That's why we crochet over the yarn tail, so we can pull that tight. Okay, so for round 2 we'll start off with a chain 2. So make 2 chain stitches, 1, and you can make the second chain just a little bit bigger because you know you're going to have to join into it at the end. Then we'll do 1 double crochet into the same stitch as the chain 2. So we're going to go in here, into the bottom of the chain 2. Now we'll do 2 double crochet stitches into each double crochet stitch around. So 2 double crochet into this one, 2 double crochet into this one, and into each one around. Here's my first double crochet into that stitch, and now we'll do a second one into that same stitch. There's 2 double crochet. Same into the next stitch. There's 1 double crochet into that stitch, and into the same stitch another double crochet. And that's all you're going to do on this round. So I'll let you continue on making 2 double crochet stitches into each stitch right around, making your last 2 double crochet stitches into the last stitch there. Now I'm up towards the end of round 2, and in my last stitch I've made 2 double crochet stitches. There you can see the join from the previous round, and here is our chain 2 that we made at the start of this round. So we want to join into the top of this chain 2 here under both loops. And we'll make a slip stitch to join. So at the end of this round 2 you should have 22 double crochet stitches. So to start round 3 we're going to do chain 2 So make 2 chain stitches, and we'll be starting a repetitive sequence. So the first part of the sequence is 2 double crochet stitches into this next stitch here. There's one, and a second double crochet stitch into the same stitch. So you've got 2 double crochet stitches into that stitch. Now the next part of the sequence is 1 double crochet stitch into the next stitch. And that's all there is to that sequence, and that's a repetitive sequence for this round. So you'll continue on doing 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and repeating that right around until here, leaving the last stitch, and I'll see you there. So now I'm up to the last stitch on round 3, and into this stitch I'm going to do 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1, and there's 2 double crochet stitches. There we can see our join from the previous round, and here is our chain 2. So we want to join into that second chain stitch, and we want to go up under both of the loops. Like that. And then we'll make a slip stitch to join the round, and at the end of round 3 you should have 33 double crochet stitches. To start round 4 we'll chain 2, so 1, 2, and now we'll be doing a repetitive sequence. So the start of the sequence is 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch here. That's our first double crochet, and into the same stitch here we'll do a second double crochet. Now the next part of the sequence is 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So that's the repetitive sequence for this round. So once again, it's 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and you'll repeat that right around until you reach the last 2 stitches, and I'll show you what to do with those last 2 stitches. So I've done my repetitive sequence on round 4, and now I'm up to the last 2 stitches here, and for these last 2 stitches, this next one we'll do 2 double crochet stitches into this next one. So there's 1 and 2. Now into the last one we'll be doing 1 double crochet. Here's our chain 2, so 1, 2, and we're going to join into the second chain stitch there, going under both loops, making a slip stitch, and that ends round 4. So at the end of round 4 you should have 44 double crochet stitches. For round 5 we'll start off with a chain 2, 1, 2, and we'll be starting a repetitive sequence. So the start of the sequence is 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch. There's our first double crochet, and now we'll do a second one into that same stitch. The next part of the sequence is 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So into the next stitch we do 1 double crochet, into the next stitch 1 double crochet, into the next stitch 1 double crochet. So that's our repetitive sequence. So once again, that is, the sequence is 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So repeating that sequence right around up until the last 3 stitches, and I'll show you what to do with those last 3 stitches. Now I'm up to the last 3 stitches on round 5, and with those last 3 stitches what we're going to do is in this next stitch we'll do 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1, and we want to do a second one into the same stitch. Now into the next stitch 1 double crochet, and into the last stitch 1 double crochet. Find our chain 2. There's 1, 2. So we want to join into the chain 2 and popping your hook under both loops. Make a slip stitch, and that ends round 5. So at the end of round 5 you should have 55 double crochet stitches. To start round 6 we'll chain 2, so make 2 chain stitches, 1, 2, and we'll be starting a repetitive sequence, and the start of the sequence is 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch here. there's our first double crochet, and we want to do a second one into that same stitch. Now the next part of the sequence is 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So continue on with that repetitive sequence, and once again it's 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, and you repeat that sequence right around until you have 4 stitches left here, and then I'll show you what to do with the last 4 stitches. Now I'm up to the last 4 stitches on round 6, and into this next stitch here we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1, and pop a second one in there. Into the next stitch we'll do 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch 1 double crochet. Into the last stitch 1 double crochet. Now we'll find our chain 2, 1, 2, popping your hook up under both of the loops. And then making a slip stitch. And that's the end of round 6. So at the end of round 6 you should have 66 double crochet stitches. For round 7 we'll start off with a chain 2. 1, 2. Now this is a really easy round. We're just going to do 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch around, right and around to the end. So 1 double crochet stitch in each stitch around. So I'll let you continue on doing that, making 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch right around until you get to the end, and I'll see you there. I'm up towards the end of round 7. Now I'm just going to find our chain 2 here, and we're going to join into the top of that chain 2 under both loops. Make a slip stitch to join. So that's the end of round 7. It's starting to get quite large now. So at the end of round 7 you'll still have 66 double crochet stitches. Now for round 8 and 9 you'll repeat round 7. So chain 2, 1 double crochet into each stitch around to the end, and then join with a slip stitch into the top of chain 2. So that's what you do for rounds 8 and 9. And at the end of 8 and 9, you'll also still have 66 stitches. I've just finished round 9, and this is what it's looking like so far. Okay, so to start round 10, we'll chain 2, so make 2 chain stitches, and we'll be starting a repetitive sequence here. So the first part of the sequence is 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches. So here's our first front post double crochet. Into the next stitch, or around the next stitch, front post double crochet. So that's our second one. Around the next stitch, front post double crochet. So that's our third one, and now we'll make our fourth front post double crochet. So there we have 4 front post double crochet stitches. Next part of the sequence is 1 back post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches. So into this next stitch we're making a back post double crochet. So there's our first back post double crochet. There's our second back post double crochet. See how you're pulling it through there, and then just completing a double crochet stitch. So that's our third back post double crochet. So one more. There's our fourth back post double crochet. So that's our repetitive sequence for the entire round. That's what you'll be doing. So 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches, and then 1 back post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches, and continue this right around up until here, up until the last stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet stitch into the last stitch. Now I'm up towards the end of round 10, and you can see I've done my last 4 back post double crochet stitches there, and into this last stitch here we're going to do a double crochet. And then we're going to join into our chain 2. Going under both loops, make a slip stitch, and that's the end of round 10. Now I'll just give you a look at this pattern here. So this is creating the basket weave vertical pattern. So for rounds 11 to 15 you're going to repeat round 10. So I'll let you go ahead with that, and I'll do the same, and I'll see you at the end of round 15. And here's just a little bit of information as you are working through rounds 11 to 15 that these stitches are going to be a little bit shorter to work into because you're working around the post of stitches. So it does make the stitches a little shorter when you're working into them. So I've just finished round 15, and this is what the beanie's looking like now. It's a gorgeous design. So now we're up to round 16, and this is the last round, and this is an easy round as well. So we'll start off round 16 with a chain 2, and we're going to do 1 half double crochet into each stitch around to the end. So 1 half double crochet into each stitch. So I'm going to let you continue making your half double crochet stitch into each stitch around, right around to the end, and I'll see you there. So I'm up to the end of round 16. I've just made my last half double crochet stitch into this stitch here. There's the join from the previous round, and here's our chain 2. And we want to join into the top of that chain 2 up under both loops, and we'll make a slip stitch to join. And that finishes round 16. So now we're ready to finish off, so just leave a good amount of yarn there and cut that. And finish off. Now you'll need your yarn needle. And just weave that end through your needle. And we're going to weave this into our work to hide the end. So if you just pop it through the middle of that next stitch there, pull that through. And then we're working on the inside of the cap now. And I'll turn it inside out so that you can see what I'm doing. So now we're just going to weave our end right down through here. And then you can turn your work and you're just going to skip a loop there and then bring your tail back up this way. And that just really secures that in there so that it doesn't pop out later when someone's wearing the cap. Now you can trim that off. And now we need to weave this one in. So just using your yarn needle again, thread the yarn through. And if you pull like that, you can see that we want to head this way around. We're just going to go around the center circle there. This will pull the center even tighter to close up that hole. Now just skip this loop and we're going to head back around this way. And then you can trim that off. Now you turn your cap back in the right way. And we're finished. So that is how you make the Crochet for Cancer's Basketweave vertical stripe chemo cap. So I hope you enjoy making many, and I hope you enjoy donating many to Crochet for Cancer.